The plains of Jetmore, Kansas, just 21 miles away from Dodge City, Kansas, where Marshal Matt Dillon exacted his law and order Western style. A little shootout sprint car style getting ready to go down behind me tonight here, folks. Hey, everybody, I'm DC Bash, and welcome to Dirt Zone. Tonight, leg number 3 of the Thunder Through the Plains Tour 2001, the showdown of the NCRA and the All-Star Circuit of Champions Tour. Brand new racetrack tonight, the Jetmore Motorplex, Jetmore, Kansas. Only 2 times it's been raced on. These fans are hyped up with anticipation. The question of the hour, can anybody stop the mouse? 2 wins in a row at Thunderhill Speedway and the Missouri State Fair, including an incredible last lap pass of Chad Kemenow. The other question is, where's Gary Wright? 8-time NCRA champion and the all-time feature win leader with 7 in the series. His appetite has to be a little bit wet. Time to shoot him out here at Jetmore. Let's go up top to the voice of Dirt Zone, Rick Eshelman.
Thanks, DC. Welcome, race fans, here to Thunder Through the Plains, number 7, Jetmore Motorplex, Jetmore, Kansas, 3/8 mile semi-bank track. 3rd race ever run on this facility. First time a 410 sprint car has ever been here. And tonight's format with 27 cars in the pits, 3 heat races, the Hallmark Dash, 12-lap B main, 30-lap A, 5,000 to win. The hottest driver in the All-Stars right now, Kenny Jacobs, the mouse himself, is with our own Bash Campbell.
The obvious question, Rick, is there any killing the mouse? The mouse being Kenny Jacobs and the number 6 sprinter, who you can't seem to do anything wrong the last couple of nights, notwithstanding the rain out last night at Joplin. But Kenny Jacobs, great job so far this Thunder Through the Plains.
Well, it's been pretty good so far. You know, it's probably the best start we've ever had out here. And I have a good race car. My Maxim race car is working real good for us right now, and the boys are working hard. And we're at a great facility tonight. This place looks beautiful. I'm anxious to get on the track here.
I was going to say, I talked to your crew chief, Aaron Hammer, yesterday. Does there come a point, we were talking earlier in the season with the other car, that it's just not doing the things you want it to do, and you just finally said, let's scrap it, let's start over?
Well, I don't know. You know, I don't know if it comes to that or not. We were having a lot of trouble, and we couldn't figure out why. And Chuck Merrill built this new car for us. And I'm not saying that's everything. We got our motor program back where it needs to be, and we've changed tire companies, and there's a lot of different variables that have added to the success that we're having right now. But it can turn around just like everybody's saying what a great week we're having, so it could all go to heck, you know, by the end of the week. So you just got to keep plugging and keep doing what we're doing right now, and hopefully it keeps working.
I was looking earlier down the line here, and any one of these guys in the All-Stars could win on any night. They've all won, with the exception of just a few, and a couple of the NCRA guys, they're going to start licking their chops for a little blood on you pretty soon here.
Well, I suppose you're right, and there's a lot of cars in this pits right now that could win this race, or it could win any of these other races. It comes down to getting your car real nice and getting some brakes. You got to have some brakes, and like we were real bad in the heat race and the B main on Monday night, and the B main actually helped us get better for the A main. So you know that was our break for that night. The second night, Chad made a little mistake, and I got the lead with a lap to go. So you got to have some lucky breaks too, but you got to be there to take advantage of those breaks when they come, and we've been there. We've been there every night now for quite a while.
I got to tell you, after so long, it was great to see you back in the winner's circle, especially 2 nights in a row. You can't buy that, and good job, and good luck tonight.
Well, thanks a lot. We're ready to go again tonight. We can't wait.
Kenny Jacobs, the mouse. Can anybody kill him? We'll find out in just a little bit. Back to you, Rick.
Thank you, Bash, and we take a look at this brand new racetrack. Everything spick and span here, and looking at the point standings, the mouse now 76 points behind Chad Kemenow. 4 wins, the most in the top 5. Jason Johnson has cracked the top 5 in points. One of those drivers hoping to do that. Rodney Duncan is here with Bash, and he's trying to figure out what he's going to do to set the car up on a new track he's never seen.
Standing on the high side of turn 1 of the brand spanking new Jetmore Motorplex here in Jetmore, Kansas. And the question, how is the track going to shape up? Rodney Duncan, you're standing up here looking around. You're the one that looks like you have the answer.
I haven't had many answers lately. It looks pretty dry. I mean, hopefully there's moisture down in it, but if not, we'll probably be running on rubber pretty quick.
What kind of things go through a driver's mind when you're up here calculating, setups and things like that? What kind of things are going through your mind right now?
Oh, since none of us ever been in here, you just pretty much have to get out there and see how it races. You know, some places look like other places, but they don't race anything like them. So we won't know till we get out there and hot lap, and then you'll know pretty quick.
So one of those things, if you try to calculate while you're standing down here, all of a sudden you miss the setup?
Seems like that more than likely, but I don't know. No, you ought to be able to equate it to something you've been, but you'll just never know. I mean, they don't have much water on it right now, and I don't know what'll happen. It'll probably be pretty hard.
Compound of tires seems to be the plaguing thing with the All-Stars this year. Some people get it right, some people don't. What is the deal with the compound?
Oh, there again, it's, you run tracks that we normally run. That's not that big of a question, but you run places you don't know what they're going to do, how hard they're going to get, how abrasive they'll get. So that's always a big part of the equation.
Got to bust on you a little bit. I saw you back in Victory Lane. It wasn't at an all-star show. You're overdue, man.
Yeah, that's an understatement. No, we'll just keep plugging away and see what happens.
All right, Rodney, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Back to you, Rick.
Thank you, DC. And while we take a look at that enthusiastic crowd, they're getting ready for action they've never witnessed here in Kansas before. The All-Stars on Dirt Zone 2001.
Hey, it's Bash from Dirt Zone. I'm feeling patriotic today, so I'm going to buy a used car. From American Auto Sales, of course. Great looking lot of used cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs every day. Over 20 SUVs in stock now at American Auto Sales. Jeep Cherokee, Ford Expedition, GMC Jimmy, Chevy Tracker, and Chevy S10 Blazers, only $6,000 and up. American Auto Sales, 328 East State Street and 2308 West State Street in Fremont. Get down here. That hurts. Your Hallmark Race Trailer connection in Northwest Ohio is USA Trailer Sales. Over 400 trailers in stock, featuring the Hallmark Thrifty Series. The 8.5 by 16, only $39.95. The 8.5 by 20, only $42.95. And the 8.5 by 24, only $46.95. Right now, get a free brake controller with any Hallmark tandem axle purchase. America's largest Hallmark dealer, USA Trailer Sales. 2 miles east of Clyde on State Route 20. USA Trailer Sales, 888-547-3890. Take a look at the car in Victory Lane. There's a real good chance it got there with a crankshaft from Callie's Performance. Everybody else is getting ahead. Why shouldn't you? With America's #1 racing crankshaft, Callie's Performance Products, 419-435-2711, or visit us on the World Wide Web. The official racing collectible store of Dirt Zone is Track Action Racing Collectibles in Fremont, the #1 connection for NASCAR and sprint car collectibles. Get the Dirt Zone deal, 10% off any purchase with the mention of this ad. Track Action Racing Collectibles, call 333-RACE.
Welcome back to Dirt Zone 2001 race fans. We are at the Jetmore Motorplex, Jetmore, Kansas. First ever appearance of 410 sprint action. We are ready for KT Equipment Rental Heat Race #1. 10 laps the distance. Top 6 finishers move to the A. Stephen King on the pole in 88. Chad Kavanaugh, the points leader in 15K. Rodney Duncan in 22, the Fury from Missouri, Jared Hall in 51, Brooke Tatnell in the Phillips 66, and the Mouse Kenny Jacobs in 6. And earlier on, Jacobs set fast time, the Bearco Distributors Bud Racing Fast Time Award, new track record, obviously, first time here ever, 13:181 around his 3/8 mile oval, and he gets the 6th starting spot. Jared Wilson in 88, Jason Johnson, the Racing Cajun in the Eldon Motorsports entry 22, Dan Oswald in the D1, and Bash is up here now. They're coming out of 4. Our first heat is about to get green.
Chad Kavanaugh needs to lay it down early here in this first heat race, Rick. Kenny the Mouse Jacobs starting to pull in tight with those points, so going to need to lay down some smack. And it looks like he's taking no time doing that right now in heat #1.
And Stephen King started on the pole in the number 88 car. You see the battle between Tatnell, Jason Johnson, Jared Hall, and Rodney Duncan ahead of him. The Mouse tried to get underneath Johnson in 2, couldn't do it. They thundered down the backstretch and into 3.
First time here ever at Jetmore Motorplex outside of Dodge City. Looks like they're getting a hold of this track early on here in heat #1 at Jetmore, Rick.
Down the backstretch, you see your leaders, Stephen King, current points leader in the All-Star Circuit of Champions, the Underground Utilities Incorporated 15K of Chad Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh putting on the pressure. Good racing groove here at Jetmore. None of these drivers have ever seen this track in a 410 sprint car, and it's all brand new to them tonight.
Interestingly enough, Rick, out front there, Stephen King talking about an emotional win here if he could nail down this first heat race. He is from Jetmore, Kansas here, so Stephen King trying to get the emotional win out of the fans here, and looks like he might be schooling Chad Kavanaugh in heat #1.
And you talk about home track advantage. I guess this is as close to a home track advantage as he can get. Being from the area, he's dialed into this racetrack. There hasn't been hardly any time at all to prepare for this, so everybody with their feet wet. And right now, the wettest feet is Stephen King's as he hammers down through the corners. Brooke Tatnell running in the number 5 spot. He's got a transfer position early. Remember, 3 heat races, top 6 go tonight. So it's going to be some easy pickings for the guys up 1, 2, 3, 4. But 5th, 6th, and 7th might get tough as we close in on the end of this first heat event.
Funny you mentioned that. Kenny the Mouse Jacob pulling in on that points championship way back in this field now. He would have to go to the B main. and work his way back through. That's a rare thing with the All-Star Circuit of Champions, Rick.
And Kenny Jacobs with that new Maxim chassis has just been about flawless so far. May have a little trouble dialing into this racetrack, but you know the mouse will be there when the marbles are up for grabs. Right now, grabbing that lead and hasn't relinquished is the 88 of Stephen King, taking Kevin on. Now Rodney Duncan across the line and into 1 and 2.
Rodney Duncan has had one rough year. We talked to him earlier about setups, and he's going underneath Chad Kavanaugh right now. Looks like he may be dialed in tonight, so the luck may be turning for Rodney Duncan. But Stephen King, the hometown boy, is still well in control, and he takes the checkered flag.
Finishing in second behind King, Rodney Duncan, and Chad Kavanaugh third, Jared Hall fourth, Brooke Tatnell fifth. Racing Jason Johnson out of Eunice, Louisiana grabs the final transfer spot, and that means the mouse is going to the B main. Going to the A main, Stephen King puts them all in Salem's lot at the end of KT Equipment Rental Heat Race number 1. You've seen your first ever race from Jetmore, Kansas, and you know where you saw it, right here on Dirt Zone 2001. We'll be right back.
The new Dirt Zone home of the Chevy truck is Keller Chevrolet in Gibsonburg. The 2002 Chevy trucks and SUVs are hot. 2002 Avalanche, 2002 Chevy S10s, 2002 Silverado, and 2002 Trailblazer. Fantastic rebates and GMAC financing available. And the biggest selection of used trucks in Sandusky County, period. Small town, low pressure, since 1959. Keller Chevrolet, Route 600 in Gibsonburg. Like a rock, Keller Chevrolet.
Hey, what's the matter?
I'm trying to decide about a cash advance. Do I get one, not get one?
First time, huh?
Yeah.
Cashland has a special phone line where you just call in, answer a few questions, and your cash is waiting. Real cash, too, not a check. It couldn't be easier. And no worries about bounced checks, credit card balances, or your credit rating.
Okay, I'll do it.
Attaboy, Tiger. For cash advances, phone in, carry out. Only at Cashland, the cash carry out.
Hi, this is Chad Kavanaugh from the All-Star Sprints, and the only thing that I love more than driving a sprint car is chowing down a large pizza from Fort Ball Pizza Palace, the official pizza of Dirt Zone.
Right now, get the Dirt Zone King, an extra large 2-topping 30-slice pizza and a 2-liter of Coke for just $10.95. And we'll throw in an 8x10 full-color autograph photo of Chad Kavanaugh while supplies last. Fort Ball Pizza Palace in Clyde, Fremont, and now the grand opening of Fort Ball in Findlay. Delivery till 2 a.m.
Now, if I could just figure out a way of eating this through my helmet.
Night number 3 at Thunder Through the Plains off to a great start so far, and the winner of Heat 1, don't you know, hometown boy, Steve King from Jetmore, Kansas. Emotional win for you here in front of your hometown crowd.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. You know, we're just weekend warriors out here racing with these guys, and they put on a hell of a show for us. And it's a pretty nice place we got built here, and hope they get to come back next year and race with us.
Somebody told me a little bit ago you've actually won a couple of features here with the 360s.
Yeah, we run a different class, 360 class with a smaller wing, and we won the inaugural event, and we won the grand opening, so we've been going pretty good here.
It's a beautiful track here, and good luck in the A-Main.
Thank you.
All right, Steve King, hometown winner of Heat 1. Back to you, Rick.
Thank you, DC. We are ready for JB Enterprises Heat Race number 2. Kelly Kinzer on the pole in 4K. Larry Neighbors, ASCS 360 sprint car ace. He's on the 29 on the outside of the front row. Rob Cheney in the 92 for this Thunder Through the Plains week. Danny Smith in 4. Row 3 has Greg Wilson and Mike Wagner, KSC rookie contender. Joe Bastillos and Barry Rubel make up row 4. Ernest Jennings, one of the oldest drivers, if not the oldest driver in the field. He'll start in 9th in the number 61. Bash back up here again. Dave, you got to be getting tired, but we're ready to go. JB Enterprises Heat Race number 2 about to get green.
Supposedly, we've heard that Larry Neighbors is the great Jim Neighbors of Gomer Pyle fame's first cousin, but nobody's been able to confirm that. Kelly Kids are following close behind Neighbors on his familiar low side. Rob Cheney looking real good in the Denny Ashworth 92, and of course Danny Smith. How can you make any mistake when Danny Smith is close to the front, Rick?
And the 2 4 cars right now battle it out. Kelly Kinzer and Danny Smith, and now the 92 of Cheney got on the outside of Greg Wilson. Wilson held him off. Danny Smith takes the high line. He doesn't know whether to run high or run low. None of these guys do. This is a guessing game. Greatest racing you'll probably see is going to be during the heats because nobody's been on the track in competition, and it's only going to get better from there. When they get to the feature, maybe they'll have it figured out. If they don't, they can either run way in the back, or if they've got it dialed in, you'll see them up front. Right now, it's all Larry Neighbors.
Had to tear it up a little bit earlier to get the service back in shape again. A lot of the drivers complaining, but looks like they've dialed it in, as you said, Rick. Larry Neighbors in that 29, a normal 360 runner out of the ASCS, showing him away around the track. Happens a lot as the All-Stars are out. You'll see Ed Howden shown to Wayne County. You'll see Ken Walters. A lot of these 360 guys running pretty tight along with the All-Stars throughout the season.
You also got to wonder, Dave, if not the 360 cars, they run on those small tracks like this one, 3/8 mile, don't run on a lot of the big tracks. Maybe the 360 driver has the advantage running on the smaller ovals throughout the year. We'll find out as this second race, JB Enterprises sponsoring the event. We'll see if that holds true as the All-Stars yet to pick up a win so far in heat race action tonight.
Kelly Kinzer blows my mind. He will not leave that low side no matter what he does. He's won lots of races down there low in front of Greg Wilson right now in this heat race number 2.
Very interesting lines these guys are taking through the corners. Just about everybody rides up on the cushion down the backstretch. You see Neighbors right there, gets real high, dives down into turn number 3, low out of 4, then slides right back up along the guardrail across the line. Larry Neighbors seems to have the right groove early on.
He's taken off big time again out of the ASCS with the 360 runners. Like you said, Rick, there may be something to these guys running those bull rings all the time in those 360s, and so far the All-Stars have yet to take home a win in these heat races here at Jetmore.
And Danny Smith seems to have it figured out. He's running all by himself in second place, still a good straightaway behind Larry Neighbors, and Larry not being very neighborly right now. As the checkered flag flies, Larry Neighbors picks up JB Enterprises heat race number 2. Danny Smith comes home second. Third will go to Kelly Kinzer, Greg Wilson fourth. Rob Cheney in fifth, and the sixth and final transfer spot goes to KSE rookie contender Mike Wagner. Bash, Larry Neighbors had this place figured out.
2 in a row for these heat races tonight. It was Stephen King, a local boy here, and then Larry Neighbors, who normally runs from Oklahoma with the ASCS. So the All-Stars have yet to claim a heat race out here, so you can see the tough competition. Dirt Zone 2001 back next.
Rugged, tough. The Rhino is built to take grueling off-road abuse, and so can Rhino Lining's Tough Stuff truck bed liners. If you work your truck hard, then you need a Rhino Lining sprayed-on polyurethane lining to protect your truck bed. Rhino Linings is the world's leading sprayed-on liner company. Their Tough Stuff liner, sprayed on up to a 1/4 inch thick, is virtually indestructible polyurethane. And unlike plastic liners, which don't stop truck bed rust, a Rhino Lining protects your investment permanently. A Rhino Lining only takes a few hours to apply, and it's warranted by your dealer for as long as you own your truck. So if you want to protect your truck's value, get a Rhino Liner. Call or log on right now. We'll send you a free brochure, a sample of Tough Stuff, and give you the name of the Rhino Lining's dealer nearest you. Call now.
Take a look at the car in Victory Lane. There's a real good chance it got there with a crankshaft from Callie's Performance. Everybody else is getting ahead. Why shouldn't you? With America's #1 racing crankshaft, Callie's Performance Products, 419-435-2711, or visit us on the World Wide Web. Crank it up with a Crown battery. In your car, in your truck, in your boat, in your tractor, in your golf cart. Crown battery since 1926. Only the best all the time. Stop by any one of these Northwest Ohio locations and tell them you want to crank it up with a Crown battery. Well, Rick, the Oklahomans are showing us way around the track tonight. We don't see this guy a whole lot other than Florida and occasionally. But out here tonight with the Thunder, Larry Neighbors, winner of heat number 2. Great job.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do. You know, the track's real slow, and I got to start on the front. That helped a lot. This is my first one of these races. I don't run a whole lot of 410 stuff anymore. My motors are a little bit old, and so this deal here being slick like this right up my alley.
We don't see you very often with the All-Stars. You joined this particular tour late, and we see you in Florida from time to time. We're going to see you more next year?
I don't know. Right now, next year, my plans are I'm trying to build a dirt car to run all the pavement shows and the dirt shows with the Silver Bullet series. So if that deal goes through, hopefully I'll do that, and I'll just pop in occasionally at some 410 shows and 360 shows.
Big win for Oklahoma here tonight to stick in the eye of Kansas, I suppose, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
Larry Neighbors, winner of heat number 2. Good job.
Thanks.
Back to you, Rick.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. And Neighbors wins heat race number 2. We go right into Crown Battery Engler Machine and Tool heat race number 3. Final chance before the B-Main to get in. Of course, 10 laps the distance, top 6 go. Zach Chappell in 50Z, Wayne Johnson in 29, Matt Sain at 3M. Travis Riley, KSC rookie contender, point leader in that spot. He'll start 4th. Gary Wright, NCRA's best. He goes from the number 5 hole of the Cat, Dean Jacobs in the 7R. Then it's Jonathan Allard in 35, Mike Peters in 49, starting 9th on the tails, Sean Walden in 14. Bash, this is it. Last chance to get in. Everybody else to the B. They'd like to make it one of these top 6 spots.
The All-Stars have seen just about all they want to of Wayne Johnson outside of row number 1 there. He has been hard on us in the last month, posting some big wins and passing a lot of cars. And that's another 360 guy. We were talking about 360s a moment ago. Wayne Johnson already taking his way in heat race number 3 in that number 29 F&J Construction Sprinter.
And Zach Chappell off the groove. Caution flag is out. Try it once again. Back to the beginning. Zach Chappell, who got off the groove out of the backstretch, got a break there as Wayne Johnson had the big lead. They go into turn 1. Johnson again thunders, and Gary Wright now on the move. And Gary Wright along with Wayne Johnson. You mentioned, Bash, these two guys have been hurting the All-Stars early on.
Wayne Johnson very, very tough on the All-Stars starting back at the 1200-pound Nationals at Knoxville. But Gary Wright has yet to show up in this Thunder Through the Plains, the 7th annual, 8-time NCRA winner, so he's going to be up pretty soon. Sean Walden, number 14, getting around and over the bottom side of turn number 1 and 2 over there, Rick.
Well, caution flag out once again. So everything Wayne Johnson and Gary Wright were attempting to do has went by the wayside. And on the Cali's performance scoreboard, now it's a different situation. Single file order, 1 lap has been scored, 9 to go. Johnson, Chappell, Riley, your first 3. There's Gary Wright in 4th, Matt Saint 5th. Dean Jacobs holds down that 6th and final transfer spot. We'll see what Jacobs can do. He's on the bubble.
Wayne Johnson in the first position. He takes a green flag across the line, looking very good in this heat race number 3. Zach Chappell, very tough too. We're talking a lot about 360s tonight. Zach Chappell doing very well with the ASCS and the 360s as well. And Travis Riley, the NCRA Rookie of the Year last year, spent a lot of time out there. So look for these names in the future. These guys are going to do some big things in the world of sprint car racing in the next couple of years.
Well, you saw Jonathan Allard just there get into the bumps down in turn number 1. Gary Wright did it the lap before. They're still trying to find the groove here at the Jetmore Motorplex. Zach Chappell holding off Travis Riley right now. Chappell has been sliding up the bank the last few laps. The initial green, he got off the racing surface. Fortunately, he had a caution flag, but he seems to be drifting into corners. And the U2 of Travis Riley drifted a little in 4 once he got some momentum going. Tough to run here. These guys are really sawing on the steering wheel, except for Wayne Johnson. He looks smooth.
Wayne Johnson out of Oklahoma City, a lot of time in the 360s, looking at the 410s very seriously, and he certainly is looking like a seasoned pro right now. They're holding off Gary Wright. That is no easy task, and Dean Jacobs as well. Some young bucks with big things in the future, holding off some very seasoned drivers here tonight, Rick.
And Dean Jacobs, a veteran, is getting a good lesson from Jonathan Allard what pressure is all about, but he pulls away from him. Ryland battling with Zach Chappell, and Zach Chappell trying to hold his own here. Ryland smoking that right rear coming off of turn 2, heading down the backstretch. He's a rookie. He'll burn those tires up. He hasn't learned tire management yet, but he will if he keeps that up in the feature event.
This track starts getting darker and taking rubber, man. That has been the hard thing all year long. It's those tire compounds, they burn off quick on a track like this. And Wayne Johnson looking very nice again in this heat race number 3.
Wayne Johnson with Tweedy on the wing. The car has been flying so far in this 3rd and final heat event. Now Gary Wright goes to work on Zach Chappell in turn 2. Down the backstretch, Chappell will pull him into turn 3. Wright still having problems with the handling. You've seen him bobble on the backstretch. Doesn't do too bad through the corners, and we'll see what he can do as we wind down. And white flag is out, 1 to go. Here comes Johnson looking strong.
Wayne Johnson looks like he's going to take the checkered flag in this heat race number 3, move on to the A main, and he does it, Rick.
And Johnson wins the Crown Battery Engler Machine and Tool heat race number 3. 2nd goes to Travis Riley, Zach Chappell 3rd, Gary Wright 4th, Matt Saint and Dean Jacobs round out your feature field qualifiers. That's it. It's all done. There is no more. Wayne Johnson has won the final heat event. Not much time to prepare because we have to dash the B main and then that big feature event. Crowd loves it. We're on Dirt Zone.
It's off to the races with Hallmark Race Trailers. Choose from the Cadet Race Trailer, the Elite 2, or the Edge, built to meet your needs with custom features like an electric front jack, deluxe cabinetry, checkerboard flooring, recessed halogen lights, awnings, observation deck, recessed ramp door, and other options. With over 20 years of experience building the industry's top racing trailer, Hallmark is the best name behind you for the long haul. Call us for more information on all your trailer needs or visit our website today.
Start training for your career at the University of Northwestern Ohio. Earn your diploma, associate's degree, or bachelor's degree in high-demand careers like accounting, healthcare administration, business administration, and more. Northwestern has flexible class times to fit your schedule and lifetime job placement services. Call 419-998-3120 today.
Make your move to a great career at the University of Northwestern Ohio.
Your Hallmark Race Trailer connection in Northwest Ohio is USA Trailer Sales. Over 400 trailers in stock, featuring the Hallmark Thrifty Series. The 8.5 by 16 only $39.95. The 8.5 by 20 only $42.95. And the 8.5 by 24 only $46.95. Right now, get a free brake controller with any Hallmark tandem axle purchase. America's largest Hallmark dealer, USA Trailer Sales. 2 miles east of Clyde on State Route 20. USA Trailer Sales, 888-547-3890. This guy's having a couple of good runs so far in the Thunder Through the Plains, winning heat number 3 tonight. Wayne Johnson, nice job again.
Thanks, buddy. I tell you, we qualified pretty bad tonight, though, but getting to start on the front row of that heat race sure makes a difference.
Okay, your car's been fast the first 2 nights of this Thunder Through the Plains. Didn't have the qualifying run you wanted to. You're back in the A, but you're not where you want to be.
Now, we talked about that all the way over here being fast time, having to start 6th. I said, man, I don't want to start 6th. I want to qualify 6th. And I think we ended up like 14th or 15th, and now we got on the front row of the heat race and got out of that thing. But now we're in the back of the A, so we kind of dug ourselves a hole.
Okay, the NCRA making a good showing here tonight at Jetmore.
Well, I tell you what, the racetrack here, is a beautiful facility to be as new as it is, and this deal here it's going to be tough. It's going to get rubber down. It's going to be real hard to pass.
Good luck in the A.
Thank you, buddy.
Wayne Johnson, winner of heat number 3, another Oklahoma showing us the way around the track. Back to you, Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Boy, Wayne Johnson looked awful tough in that heat event. Taking a look at the Hallmark Dash, 6 fastest All-Star members. And you saw the number 22 go to the outside. That's Rodney Duncan. He started 3rd, got around Rob Cheney in 4, and in victory lane. You would never tell he just won the dash with that small smile on his face, but he did win it. Rodney Duncan, your winner of the Hallmark Dash.
All right, Rick, our beloved All-Stars not finding the fast way around the track yet tonight, but qualifying did it for this guy up in the front of the A main. Gotta like it, Greg Wilson.
Yeah, it's probably a real good place to start tonight. It looks like she's going to probably lay down some rubber, and, man, it don't get much better in the front row.
And it doesn't get any better for you. You've had 4 wins on this kind of a track.
Yeah, we're still struggling a little bit with our race car, but hopefully you can find the right combination tonight and bring us home a feature win out west here.
Okay, outside of Gary Wright, you got to get that jump, huh?
Yeah, that'll be the most important probably part of the whole race is the initial start, but you never know. You can follow them, and get them right at the end, too.
Good luck in the A.
Thank you.
Greg Wilson on the front row for the A main. Back to you, Rick.
Thanks, Bash. Last night we were supposed to be at Joplin 66 racetrack in Missouri. Race rained out. We got a chance to talk to the youngest crew chief on the All-Stars featured in Open Wheel magazine, that being the Mouse's crew chief, Aaron Hammer, with Dave Bash Campbell.
I was going to ask you, earlier in the season, you guys were really frustrated about how things were going. You just weren't getting to the front, getting plenty of heat wins, plenty of good times, but you weren't getting to the front. All of a sudden, you're setting the world on fire. What have you guys done different to make this car go?
We started communicating a lot better at the Nationals this year, and Eldora right before that. We started talking, and just everything started clicking. Just the communication was there, and everybody was making it a team effort, and it's got a lot better since then.
Okay, you've certainly staked your claim in the sprint car world. Do you have any aspirations to move on up, or are you liking the dirt?
I like the dirt for right now. I like traveling. I like working with these people. It's a lot of fun, but someday I want to go south and Winston Cup maybe.
I'm going to have to talk to Kenny Jacobs after all. Aaron, listen, good luck, and you've done a great job this week.
All right, thanks.
All right, back to you, Rick.
Thanks, Bash. Boy, the crew chiefs get younger and younger as the years go by. We're going to have B-Main action coming back from here at Jetmore in just a moment on Dirt Zone 2001.
The new Dirt Zone home of the Chevy truck is Keller Chevrolet in Gibsonburg. The 2002 Chevy trucks and SUVs are hot. 2002 Avalanche, 2002 Chevy S10s, 2002 Silverado, and 2002 Trailblazer. Fantastic rebates and GMAC financing available. And the biggest selection of used trucks in Sandusky County, period. Small town, low pressure, since 1959. Keller Chevrolet, Route 600 in Gibsonburg. Like a rock, Keller Chevrolet.
Hey, what's the matter?
I'm trying to decide about a cash advance. Do I get one, not get one?
First time, huh?
Yeah.
Cashland has a special phone line where you just call in, answer a few questions, and your cash is waiting. Real cash, too, not a check. It couldn't be easier. And no worries about bounced checks, credit card balances, or your credit rating.
Okay, I'll do it.
Attaboy, Tiger. For cash advances, phone in, carry out. Only at Cashland, the cash carryout.
The official racing collectible store of Dirt Zone is Track Action Racing Collectibles in Fremont, the #1 connection for NASCAR and sprint car collectibles. Get the Dirt Zone deal, 10% off any purchase with the mention of this ad. Track Action Racing Collectibles, call 333-RACE. Take a look at the car in Victory Lane. There's a real good chance it got there with a crankshaft from Callie's Performance. Everybody else is getting ahead. Why shouldn't you? With America's #1 racing crankshaft. Callie's Performance Products, 419-435-2711, or visit us on the World Wide Web.
Welcome back to Dirt Zone 2001. Dave Bash Campbell here with me at Jetmore, Motorplex, Jetmore, Kansas. B-main event, Bash, your front row, it's a good one. Kenny Jacobs on the pole, Jared Wilson on the outside of row 1.
Row number 2, number 37, Joe Bastillos, number 35, Jonathan Allard, normal, out in California there.
Then Barry Rubel in 63 and Mike Peters make up row 3 in 49.
Row number 4, D1, Dan the Sonic Man, Dan Oswald, Ernest Jennings in 61, and Sean Walden in number 14, rounding out the field, Rick.
And this is it, last chance before the A. Final trip around to get in. Kenny Jacobs second in the point, 76 behind going into tonight's racing action. He's got his work cut out for him. He's on the inside of Jared Wilson as we go green, and Jacobs wastes no time. He gets the jump going into 1.
Shouldn't be a problem for Kenny the Mouse Jacobs with his seasoning, and that says a lot about him. For the years he's been in sprint car racing, 3-time defending champion. Sometimes you got to go back and fight your way back through the B. We got trouble over in 3 and 4 there.
It's Barry Rubel and Jared Wilson bringing out the caution flag. We'll start it all over again one more time. Here we go once again. Kenny Jacobs in 6, and now Jonathan Allard on the outside of row number 1. Different look to the front row this time as they come out of turn 4, and Mighty Mouse takes the field into 1, Bash.
Jonathan Allard may be able to mount more of a challenge in his B-main for Kenny Jacobs, and you dare to assume that these guys aren't going to race to go ahead and make it back. I mean, you got some guys coming up for big stuff back there in the back. That's Sean Walden and Jared Wilson a little bit ago got in that tangle with Barry Rubel. They're both up for the NCRA Rookie of the Year points, so they're going to be going forward to make that A-main tonight and show a little bit of their stuff at a young age.
Joe Bastillos holding off the Sonic Man, but right now it's Jared Wilson pedaling as hard as he can. Can't get by Barry Rubel. These guys have staged a little war between themselves early on in this 12-lap B-main event. But out front it's Jonathan Allard chasing down the Mouse, Kenny Jacobs, running in that second spot. You see the distance, a full straightaway away already. Mouse wasting no time. He wants to put this one away early.
I'm positive Kenny Jacobs earlier on, a little bit frustrated, didn't work his way through heat number 1, had to go back and work it out through the B. That's the neat thing about it is you get your qualifying time. And of course, the Mouse top qualifier tonight here at the all-new Jetmore Motorplex. Jonathan Allard looking very good out of California over the last month with the All-Stars here, Rick.
And Allard holding off Mike Peters in the number 49 car. Jared Wilson has gotten by Barry Rubel. Starts his assault towards the front once again, goes into turn number 3. Wilson trying to make it in the feature event, had trouble on the start. Fortunately, it was early in the race and not late, so he's still got time to work his way up towards the front of the pack.
We have watched that kid gel into a great sprint car driver this year. He told me a little bit earlier in the week he's finally trusting going into that turn and looking like he's been a seasoned sprint car driver for a while. Just a couple of weeks back, really having a struggle, but really trusting that sprint car to do what it's supposed to do with that downforce and that aerodynamic system there, Rick.
Sean Walden, who's had some problems so far this year, he seems to be looking a lot better as he makes his way out of turn number 4, having a good run across the line. Walden chasing down that 37 car of Joe Bastillos. Bastillos also having a pretty good run here in the B-main event, so some of these guys turning the wick up just a little bit. Maybe it'll turn their program around for the rest of this racing season.
Kenny Jacobs seems well in control of this one. Looks like he's going to work his way back and start out that number 6 hole for the A-main tonight at Jetmore Motorplex, Rick.
Goes around Barry Rubel in turn 2, puts him a lap down. The Maxim chassis working extremely well now. They must have made some changes after that heat. Kenny couldn't have been happy finishing 7th in a heat event. He's not used to that, so he's going out here and doing everything he can get as much track time, so he's a force to be reckoned with in the feature event, and he is really picking them up and laying them down.
Kenny Jacobs well in control. The white flag is out. He's done a fantastic job with his Thunder through the Plains, taking the first 2 legs, Rick.
And he makes his way into turn number 2. The Mouse, Kenny Jacobs, down the backstretch for the last time before the feature event. This is his final circuit around. Whatever he can remember coming across the line, he's going to use in the feature. Jacobs wins the B. Jonathan Allard, Mike Peters, Joe Bastia, Sean Walden round out the top 5. Then it was Dan Oswald, Jared Wilson, Barry Rubel, Ernest Jennings. That's it. No more preliminaries. We're going feature racing, 30 laps, $5,000 to win. The Mouse now starts 6th. He's ready to go. He's chasing Chad Kemenoff for the points. He's got a lot of tough competition here tonight. We'll find out what happens on Dirt Zone.
Rugged, tough, the Rhino is built to take grueling off-road abuse, and so can Rhino Lining's Tough Stuff truck bed liners. If you work your truck hard, then you need a Rhino Lining sprayed-on polyurethane lining to protect your truck bed. Rhino Linings is the world's leading sprayed-on liner company. Their Tough Stuff liner, sprayed on up to a 1/4 inch thick, is virtually indestructible polyurethane. And unlike plastic liners, which don't stop truck bed rust, a Rhino Lining protects your investment permanently. A Rhino Lining only takes a few hours to apply, and it's warranted by your dealer for as long as you own your truck. So if you want to protect your truck's value, get a Rhino Liner. Call or log on right now. We'll send you a free brochure, a sample of Tough Stuff, and give you the name of the Rhino Linings dealer nearest you. Call now.
Peterbilt of Northwest Ohio, featuring a beautiful fleet of new and used conventionals, cab overs, and glider kits in stock every day. And the Peterbilt Collision Repair Facility. From a total wreck to a scratch fender, we do it all. Peterbilt of Northwest Ohio, Trenton Avenue off I-75 in Findlay.
Welcome back to Dirt Zone 2001 race fans. Rick Eshelman here with you at Jetmore Motorplex, Jetmore, Kansas, for a breast parade lap. The fans on their feet, clapping, waving, programs, hats, fireworks in the infield. Bash, we are going to have some fireworks here tonight. What a great field.
These people have done a fantastic job putting this new racetrack together out here. Beautiful, beautiful fireworks. It is one of the finest facilities I've seen in a long time. Just 21 miles outside of Dodge City, man. If you're ever out this way, you want to see some great racing, this is the place to do it at Jetmore Motorplex.
And what a great front row we've got to start this 30-lap A-Main. Gary Wright, NCRA's best driver on the inside. On the outside, Greg Wilson. We always thank American Auto Sales for helping with tonight's broadcast of this event as we look at row 2.
Brooke Tadlow in that 66 Trop Arctic car, 7R, Dean Jacobs on the outside of row number 2.
KSE rookie contender Mike Wagner and Kenny Jacobs, Jared Hull and Danny Smith.
You two have Travis Rowland up for the Rookie of the Year, number 22, Rodney Duncan.
Then it's Rob Cheney and Matt Saint. Points leader Chad Kemenoff, Larry Neighbors, heat race winner. Bash, they're already into turn number 4. Gary Wright and Wilson bring them down, and look at the fans, they're into it already.
8-time NCRA champion Gary Wright is going to have to lay it down tonight. He's failed to show up yet. He's won 7 of these Thunder Through the Plains features over the last 7 years. Greg Wilson looking very good tonight, already in the top spot.
Danny Smith, Kenny Jacobs, Brooke Tatnell all battling it out, 2 and 3 wide. Rodney Duncan sticks his nose into the battle, and Wright goes to the outside of Greg Wilson. Down the back chute, Gary Wright gets by.
Gary Wright going ahead and taking over the top spot. 69 career feature wins in his storied career. Looking good tonight. 8-time NCRA champion. He's trying to make it back, and we've got trouble over in turn number 3.
Sean Walden bringing out the caution flag, ends up on the rumble strips down on the inside of the racetrack. That'll slow him down. It'll be single file order from this point on every restart, and it's going to be even tougher to go. 2 in, 28 to go on the Callie's Performance scoreboard. Gary Wright and Greg Wilson, that's the way they started, that's the way they run as we get set to go green.
Gary Wright is always dangerous when he starts out on the pole position. Kenny Jacobs, a little work to do tonight, starting off in that 6-hole. This track getting a little bit slick. It's going to be tough to come back from deep in the field here, Rick.
Well, when you have NCRA against the All-Stars, 2 sets of rookie contenders, 2 sets of champions, 2 sets of point leaders, great combination for racing out here in the Plains. Jetmore, Kansas, a brand new facility. Some excellent racing going on as the Mouse dives underneath Tatnell one more time.
Brooke Tatnell not wanting to give it up too easy. There goes the mouse. Brooke Tatnell looking very good in that 66 Trop Arctic car after Aaron Berryhill exiting just a couple of months ago, gelling in nice with that team too, Rick.
And Tatnell fits into that seat extremely well. He has had a pretty good year so far in that Phillips 66 Trop Arctic car. Not looking too bad in the feature. Jacobs got by. Jacobs may have figured it out in the B-main. Got some extra laps that Tatnell didn't get. A lot of these guys had to sit and watch Jacobs, and maybe they were a little fearful of what he learned out there.
Keep your eye on Danny Smith and Rodney Duncan. Rodney Duncan is way overdue. Mike Wagner there battling it out with Rob Chaney, who's also brand new in that Denny Ashworth number 92. This is his first time in that seat out here on Thunder Through the Plains, normally running in the 9X car of Stan Courtad.
And Rob Chaney got the ride for this Thunder Through the Plains. He's making the most of it right now. Danny Smith holding off Rodney Duncan in 22. Duncan has had a pretty good night so far. You can see the track getting nice and black and slick now. It's going to be tough on tires. These guys are going to have to conserve tires, but still stay on the hammer because Gary Wright is just running wild right now.
Watch for Greg Wilson when that track starts to get dark and slick. Greg Wilson seems to turn the jets on. It seems to be the part of his game that turns it up a little bit when that track looks like it does now, but Gary Wright well in control of this feature event.
Greg Wilson, a good couple of turns around, and we've got one end over end. It's red flag time. And we're going to go check over in turn number 2 and look at the Sonic Man's wing all bashed up. I think he might have rolled over the top of his wing.
I don't believe it. Gary Wright running off with it for all intent and purposes, probably had this A-main locked up, rolls over the front of Dan the Sonic Man back there. Man, he has got to be beside himself right now.
Well, you see the gas pouring out of that, and he's out of the car. Safety crew with him. You look at the wing on the D1 car. Larry Neighbors also involved, Bash, but he's out of that ride.
Gary Wright getting shaken up a little bit. He may have to pay a trip to our own beloved Dr. Rob Conkle Chiropractic in Findlay. On the replay here, Rick, it looks like Dan the Sonic Man just getting caught up in traffic there, and Gary Wright having nowhere to go goes, right over the top of Dan the Sonic Man. Boy, oh boy, you hate to see that. What a heartbreak tonight. He definitely is going to be up for Heartbreak of the Night honors. More of this exciting A-main up next from Jetmore on Dirt Zone 2001.
It's off to the races with Hallmark Race Trailers. Choose from the Cadet Race Trailer, the Elite 2, or the Edge, built to meet your needs with custom features like an electric front jack, deluxe cabinetry, checkerboard flooring, recessed halogen lights, awnings, observation deck, recessed ramp door, and other options. With over 20 years of experience building the industry's top racing trailer, Hallmark is the best name behind you for the long haul. Call us for more information on all your trailer needs or visit our website today.
Make your move to a great career in auto diesel. The University of Northwestern Ohio is a national leader in automotive, diesel, and high-performance motorsports training with convenient day and night classes, financial aid, and nationwide lifetime job placement services. Call 419-998-3120 today.
Make your move to a great career at the University of Northwestern Ohio.
Crank it up with a Crown battery. In your car, in your truck, in your boat, in your tractor, in your golf cart. Crown battery since 1926. Only the best all the time. Stop by any one of these Northwest Ohio locations and tell them you want to crank it up with a Crown battery. Take a look at the car in Victory Lane. There's a real good chance it got there with a crankshaft from Callie's Performance. Everybody else is getting ahead. Why shouldn't you? With America's #1 racing crankshaft. Callie's Performance Products, 419-435-2711, or visit us on the World Wide Web.
Welcome back to Dirt Zone 2001. We're here at Jetmore, Kansas. Callie's Performance Scoreboard Bash, 8 in, 22 to go. Wilson, your new leader. Smith running second, and Gary Wright's woes continue.
You hate to see it happen, Rick, but racing is a game of breaks, and the break right now goes to Greg Wilson, who seems to shine on these dark, slick tracks. He's had great feature wins on these kind of tracks early in the year, so keep your eyes on Greg Wilson. Looks like he may be up for a checkered flag on this Thunder Through the Plains at Jetmore Motorplex.
Greg Wilson inherited the lead. He didn't want to do it by way of Wright getting on top of his wing, but nevertheless, he'll lead the pack out of 4. Danny Smith running second, Rodney Duncan third, the Cat Dean Jacobs fourth. There's the mouse, Kenny Jacobs running fifth, and Tandle's going to try and go by him on the outside.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 was the All-Stars, but Brooke Tandle, as I told you a moment ago, looking very good in that 66 Trop Arctic car. He may be up to make his assault on the front of the pack right now, Rick.
Rodney Duncan goes around to Cat Dean Jacobs, and here comes Brooke Tatnell. Tatnell has things figured out early, almost slipped off the racing group in the backstretch. gathers it back up in 3, continues to run the cushion, coming out of 4. Tatnall is on the move.
Tatnall, man, he just can't seem to get off the gas right now. He's got this horsepower figured out on the way to get it down to the track. Greg Wilson still well in control of this A main.
Down the backstretch, you see current point leader Chad Kemenaugh. He's 3 positions behind the Mouse. Will Chad Kemenaugh lose more points here tonight in the All-Star Circuit of Champions? We'll find out as laps continue on. Rob Cheney also having a good run.
These two have been battling it out all season long, including last night, a last lap pass from Kenny Jacobs. Chad Kemenaugh seemingly had the race won at Sedalia in the Missouri State Fairground. Kenny Jacobs showing him a little expertise there, so Chad Kemenaugh is going to want to lay it back in his lap tonight there, Rick.
At least he had a big point lead going on early in this season. It's starting to shrink, but I know Kemenaugh would rather be on top than in second chasing Kenny Jacobs. That's no easy task. And Jacobs right now has the pressure on him as he tries to gain more points each and every race. They're becoming more important, and Kelly Kinzer pulls to the inside.
Kelly Kinzer, not only a competitive driver, but a very smart driver. When things start going wrong and he sees he may be out of it, he goes in and pulls it in so he doesn't tear more things up. Danny Smith, man, he's way overdue for a win. Hasn't won since last year's Hoosier Fall Classic. Got a couple of feature wins outside the All-Stars earlier in the season, but he has not had an All-Star win this year. It'd be great to see him get his first one tonight.
It's been a long time since they were at Indiana, and man, Danny Smith is having a great run, chasing down Greg Wilson as they put a lap on Sean Walden. Danny Smith has got his foot hard on the hammer, and Danny Smith is gaining ground on Wilson quickly.
You thought this track was going to be an inside line track. Danny Smith all season long, anytime he's ever done well, he seems to get a hold of that outside line and hangs on to it until good things start to happen.
And that's the line Greg Wilson normally takes, but for some reason tonight, Greg Wilson chooses to run on the bottom. Kind of a different line for Greg Wilson. It works for him. It pushes him up the bank in 2, and that allows Danny Smith to close in as they go around the lap car now of Matt Saint.
Seems like Greg Wilson's still a little bit unsure of where he wants to run. Danny Smith, though, has his mind made up. He's committed to the outside line, and that's starting to reel in the 63 of Greg Wilson right now, Rick.
He got in the marbles a little in turn 1, has gathered it back up down the backstretch. Wilson a little sideways. These guys having trouble getting a bite, and Smith bites it down low. He'll take Wilson's inside line, doesn't work across the line.
You gotta love it. Danny Smith poking his nose in there. Greg Wilson shuts him down again, and it looks like he's gonna hold him off for the time being, but not long. Here he comes again for 3 and 4, Rick.
Into turn 3 they go. Wilson on the bottom, Danny Smith on the top. Side by side, wheel to wheel, wing to wing across the line. Wilson by a nose.
Tried him low just 1 lap ago, and he's trying him high again, and it looks like he's reeling him in. I think this time he's going to take it. Wilson's saying no.
Just off the edge of the racetrack, coming down the backstretch, Danny Smith hanging on, running wild on the outside, goes by. Down the front stretch, Smith, your new leader.
Danny Smith takes over. Maybe not yet. This is an incredible race here at Jetmore Motorplex.
Wilson gets the lead in 2. Smith gets the lead down the backstretch. Here comes Wilson back to the bottom inside turn number 4. Danny Smith now with a 3-car length advantage as they come across the line and head into 1.
Boy, you gotta love it every night, night in, night out. We have seen races like this all year long, Rick, and tonight no exception in this Thunder Through the Plains, leg number 3.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been NCRA versus All-Stars. NCRA had their way in the heats for the most part. All-Stars running 1 and 2 out front. The Mouse, Kenny Jacobs, don't count him out yet. This one ain't over.
Kenny Jacobs trying to make his way back up to the front of the pack, but it appears as though Greg Wilson and Danny Smith haven't figured out. And I'll tell you, Brooke Tadnall is not out of this one yet. You see it on the yellow flag. Look out for Brooke Tadnall in that number 66.
And Chad Kemenaugh coming on. He's now behind the Mouse, Kenny Jacobs. Jacobs will pick up only a few points if he stays only 1 position ahead. Jacobs knows what he's got to do. Kemenaugh knows where he's at, and there goes Jacobs to the inside. He'll get by Tatnall.
You're never going to see a race go by with what you don't see Kenny Jacobs moving his way up to that top 5. It seems to be that way every night. You still have to go through him no matter how many years you've been around. It's still Kenny Jacobs close to the top.
And Jacobs gets underneath Rodney Duncan in 2. Kenny Jacobs making his passes in turn 1 and 2. He'll bring it out of turn number 4. Leaders go by. Jacobs has a long way to go to get up in front.
Somebody leaving. That's Wayne Johnson getting off the backside of turn number 2 over there. Wayne Johnson having an incredible run here in the Thunder Through the Plains this week, and I think we're still going to see big things out of him yet as the week starts to wear on here, Rick.
Caution flag out as the cars slow down. 25 in, 5 to go. Danny Smith, Greg Wilson, Rodney Duncan, the Mouse, Kenny Jacobs in 4th. 5 laps for $5,000.
I told you a moment ago, don't count Brooke Tattnall out of this one. And, of course, Rodney Duncan still very, very much a threat at Jetmore Motorplex.
Brooke Tattnall sits 5th. Chad Kemenaugh sits 6th. 2 places now separate the mouse from Chad Kemenaugh, Bash. Your leader's coming into turn number 4. Jacobs has to go to the front now.
Here we go off the 4th turn. Danny Smith taking a green flag. Greg Wilson close behind, and Rodney Duncan in that 3rd position. It's been a long time since he's been at the front of the pack, having a very tough season, Rick.
There once again, Kenny Jacobs has to chase Rodney Duncan. He passed him before the caution. Last completed scored lap put him back in 4th. He lost the spot he could have put on Chad Kemenaugh. Kemenaugh goes around the 66 of Tattnall, now Kemenaugh in 5th.
It's now a 4-lap dash. Danny Smith seems to be very much in control. I don't think they're going to make it back to lap traffic because usually that seems to be what makes the difference up front is that lap traffic.
Danny Smith looking like he might have it sewed up, but Greg Wilson loves this black slick track. Let's see if he can catch him as the laps wind down. Smith jumping the cushion a little bit, going down the back chute. Now Wilson mounts a charge in 4. He's coming on the low side.
Wilson reeling him in there, Rick, on the low side of turn number 4. 3 laps now to go. Danny Smith barely hanging on. Wilson reeling him in on the back straightaway.
Well, Danny Smith, hungry as ever, hasn't won since Lawrenceburg last year. Greg Wilson has had a pretty good season with the All-Stars, but right now Danny Smith wants that first victory of 2001.
The thing about Danny Smith, Rick, it's never pretty, but he just seems to be able to figure out how to get it done.
He's one of those guys that doesn't win flashy, he just wins, and he's looking like he's going to pick up the win now. Out of turn number 4, checkered flag goes to Danny Smith. He wins his first one of the season. Greg Wilson 2nd, Rodney Duncan 3rd, the Mouse Kenny Jacobs 4th, Chad Kemenaugh 5th. Jacobs gains 1 spot on Chad Kemenaugh. Points are so valuable. He wanted to put more distance between him, couldn't get it done. Danny Smith, however, did get it done. Greg Wilson is giving Danny Smith congratulations. Look at that, signal him, way to go. They're happy for Danny Smith even though they didn't win it.
Greg Wilson grew up watching Danny Smith, and it's got to be great right now to see the teacher get a big win here tonight at Jetmore. Got to get down there to talk to him though, Rick. Come on back for more Dirt Zone 2001. Hey, it's Bash from Dirt Zone. I'm feeling patriotic today, so I'm going to buy a used car. From American Auto Sales, of course. Great looking lot of used cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs every day. Over 20 SUVs in stock now at American Auto Sales. Jeep Cherokee, Ford Expedition, GMC Jimmy, Chevy Tracker, and Chevy S10 Blazers, only $6,000 and up. American Auto Sales, 328 East State Street and 2308 West State Street in Fremont. Get down here. That hurts. The official racing collectible store of Dirt Zone is Track Action Racing Collectibles in Fremont, the #1 connection for NASCAR and sprint car collectibles. Get the Dirt Zone deal, 10% off any purchase with the mention of this ad. Track Action Racing Collectibles, call 333-RACE.
If you enjoy watching Dirt Zone week in and week out, race fans, please help us by supporting our sponsors. Fort Ball Pizza Palace, USA Trailer Sales, Crown Battery, Track Action Racing Collectibles. Also, American Auto Sales, University of Northwest Ohio, Callie's Performance, Hallmark Race Trailers, Keller Chevrolet, Peterbilt of Northwest Ohio, Rhino Linings, and Cashland. If you would like to advertise on Dirt Zone, give Bash a call at 419-334-8605. The 2002 Northern Opener for the All-Stars is just around the corner, April 6th at Eldora Speedway, followed by April 19th and 20th at Attica Raceway Park for the Coors 1,200-pound Nationals. All new episodes of Dirt Zone will begin on March 16th, right here on WUPW Fox Toledo.
Back on Dirt Zone 2001, there he is, Danny Smith pulling a 360 out of turn number 4. 20th win of his career in the All-Star Circuit of Champions. The John Baker Excavating number 4 of Danny Smith picking up win number 1 in 2001. Hard to believe that this veteran has taken this long to pick up his first win, but he pulls the helmet off. He is happy. He loves this new place. He'd like to come back here each and every week if this is how he does it. Great win for him. Tonight's results you see up on the screen from Jetmore Motorplex. Remember, the first time ever here for these All-Star Circuit of Champions and the NCRA Sprints. First time ever for a 410 race. Only the 3rd race run ever at this brand new facility. A great show for the fans tonight. They definitely got their money's worth. You see some of the people like Steve King and Joe Bastillos, Matt Saint, Kelly Kinzer, Larry Neighbors had a heat race win. He finished 22nd. You got to feel for Gary Wright in the number 9, getting on the wing. What a tough break for Gary Wright as Barnes stands down in victory lane with Danny Smith. And taking a look tonight at the Callie's Performance Hard Charger, who else could it be but Danny Smith, passing 7 cars, going from 8th to take on the win. The driver from Danville, Indiana, picking up the Callie's Performance Hard Charger. We're going to go down trackside with a person that's even happier than Dorothy and Toto in Kansas, that being Danny Smith, the driver out of Danville, Indiana. Let's go down to Bash now and talk to him.
Rick, I'll tell you, I don't know if the enjoyment ever leaves me to see Danny Smith in a victory lane a couple of months back with the Brad Doty Classic, and you're back here again. Great to see it.
Yeah, we've had some wins this year, but none of them all-star wins. We've been pretty consistent all year long, running a lot of top 5s, and I was hoping sooner or later you'd pick one off, but it came sooner than later. And it's pretty tough out here. These guys run hard. And tonight, Gary Wright, a tough break for him leading and getting crashed, so I don't know if we could have chased him down or not. It would have been fun to see, but got in there and gave Greg a good race and picked us off a win.
Earlier in the season, I saw you stay true to your line with that Brad Doty Classic. You stayed true to the line here tonight with Greg. You kept on picking him off on that outside line. You were so treacherous on that one.
Yeah, I kind of changed after that with 5 to go because it laid some rubber down in the middle. I could dive in the middle really fast and then drive up the track to the cushion and try to keep my momentum going. That's a bad thing leading the race. When the rubber gets down, you don't know what, you don't want to get smoked on the bottom of the racetrack with driving around the top. So we just kind of found some rubber spots, got in them, and when we weren't in those, we got on the top and kept our momentum up.
You had some seat time in Andy Hillenberg's car when he got hurt a couple of weeks ago. It's got to feel good to get back in yours, though.
Yeah, it feels real good, especially when you win. This is a beautiful facility. Wish they'd had some tracks like this in Ohio. Really nice facilities. The guys did a good job of building this place, and it's fun to race on.
Okay, it'd be nice to see you get one the rest of the week, okay?
Yeah, we need another one. This first one's took 3/4 of the season, so maybe we can pick off some more.
Danny Smith, A-main winner tonight. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, back to you, Rick.
Thanks, Bash. Don't forget, race fans, we're on Fox 36, Saturday night, November the 3rd, 81 Speedway in Wichita, Kansas. First broadcast on Fox 36. Be there with us. Great racetrack out in Wichita. Tonight's Peterbilt of Northwest Ohio, heartbreak of the night, hands down winner. Driver out of Hooks, Texas, Gary Wright, current NCRA point leader, 8-time NCRA champion. Had a great starting spot in the feature off of the pole, ran strong early, got crossed up over in turn number 2. You've seen the fans are on their feet in disbelief that a driver of this magnitude could do it, but it happens to the best of them as we go down and talk to second place Greg Wilson.
Second place tonight, it goes to none other than Greg Wilson. We talked a little bit earlier about this track darkening up. It is your kind of track. Everybody was writing Gary Wright a ticket, and he caught that lap traffic. You've been through that situation before, but you stayed patient, and doggone it, Danny caught you.
Yeah, we just had too hard of a tire on, but it was a heck of a run for us. We needed a good finish. This, the way our week's been so far, and to race with Danny like that, man, to get beat, I mean, it's frustrating, but you got beat by one of the best. So we'll just pack up, go to the next 2 nights, and hopefully get one back. One maybe we gave up here tonight.
5-lap dash left right there after the yellow flag. Do you feel like it looked like you were kind of reeling him in? Do you think more laps could have done it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, our tires were set up for the long run, and he was set up more for a shorter run. And we had our Champ Car tires on for the real abrasive racetrack, and just a little bit off. But American racers were really good tonight, and second place to second place.
You've been quiet during this Thunder Through the Plains. It's good to see you back up top.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling.
Greg Wilson, second place tonight. Back to you, Rick.
With that finish for Greg Wilson, taking a look at the current All-Star point standings, he's now back in the top 5 again. Kenny Jacobs gains 2 points on Chad Kemanaugh. That's it. Let's go to Rodney Duncan, who finished 3rd with Bash.
Thanks, Rick. Rodney Duncan, you've had a rough way to go the last couple of months. We've been with you every step of the way, but you told me tonight before this race you had some secrets. You came from the 5th row. It must have been a good one.
Yeah, actually, it was Andy Potter made the call, and everybody else knew it was going to take rubber and bolted on really hard tires, and we put some soft ones on and figured we'd try and get what we could get while we could, and it worked out. If we'd have bolted hard tires on, we'd have fell in line and probably followed them, but instead we started 10th and run 3rd.
You won a couple of weeks ago outside the All-Stars, but you're back in an All-Star victory lane. It is 3rd, but it looks good to see you here again, man.
Yeah, I think we've been going better. We just can't get on the right kind of tracks at the right time. We get something figured out for one type of track, and then we got to go run something else, and we just got to get more in sync. We'll be all right, though.
Okay, a couple of nights left to go. What do you got planned for then? I mean, you're telling me these secrets here.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We just got to take it day by day and see how it works out.
All right, good luck the rest of the Thunder Through the Plains Tour.
Thanks a lot.
Third place for Rodney Duncan. Back to you, Rick.
Thanks, Bash. Coming up, the All-Star Circuit of Champions go to East Bay Raceway for the first annual Fall Nationals. $30,000 on the line. While you're there, stay at Days Inn in Tampa. Mention Dirt Zone. Get the Racers rate. We'll see you next week. Good night.